All right, what is going on? I hope you are well. This is Courtney Rollins with the Life and Transitions Experts YouTube channel, Facebook group, and podcast. I hope this, again, like I said, finds you well. These are some of my favorite pieces of content to do. Today, I get to have a chance to talk to somebody who is an expert in supporting people who are going through some big transitions in their life, particularly if they're either trying to step into the world of real estate investing where they can take control of their financial freedom or financial future and now, or if they're a seasoned veteran person who's like, hey, I need to find somebody who can fund all these awesome deals that I'm getting. I get, or if there's somebody who wants to network and connect with so many awesome other folks in that real estate space. Today, I have the privilege of speaking to David Mashian. Am I saying your last name properly?
Mashian.
Mashian, that's right.
Yeah.
David Mashian. He is an amazing real estate investor, lender, and a facilitator of this awesome network group called Deal Exchange, where he'll talk more about it, but it's like an A to Z, get whatever you need from the people in there and contribute as much as you can with the people in there. So this is awesome. What's going on, David? How are you doing?
Hey, Courtney, how you doing? Thanks for
Oh,
inviting me.
no worries. I'm blessed. So yeah, if you give us I was giving a quick introduction to you, but can you give us an overview? Like, let us know who are you and what is your connection to the world of real estate investing?
So yeah, I have a pretty big, deep connection in real estate. I mean, my father and his father were both real estate developers, so I kind of grew up in real estate. And I've been doing. I started in commercial real estate. Well, I did it in college too, real estate leasing and kind of being a runner for brokers. But really, when I started was in 2001 as a broker doing commercial real estate not lending, commercial real estate brokerage in LA, selling apartment buildings in Los Angeles. So I started selling apartments in Hollywood, near around Hollywood and downtown LA areas. Silver Lake, Koreatown, etc. So that's where I was selling apartment buildings, and kind of grew that business and became have created my own team, and then eventually started managing commercial real estate brokerage offices, and then started opening up franchise companies and doing joint ventures with other brokerage companies, doing mergers with different companies to expand it, and then kind of got burned out. I pretty much did everything I could in commercial real estate at that point. And then I said, well, one of my friends said, try hard money lending. So I did. I did that about 8, 9 years ago, and I've been on the private money lending side for investments in commercial real estate. I pretty much started as mostly commercial lending, and then I got requests so much for residential that I started doing residential lending as well for investments. So now I broker commercial and residential private loans uh, without bank return, with tax returns, no banks. It's all private money. And I got kind of tired of working with banks because they ask for everything, and they run you around, and at the end they kind of decline you, and that got really old really fast. So I decided to work on the private money space to get deals funded, and yeah, that's about it.
Man, so you just have a little bit of experience in this space. So what was like your childhood look like? Were your parents or your dad talking about, real estate deals and
Oh
capex
yeah,
and
yeah.
all
I
that kind of
remember
stuff?
he used to put out the blueprints. I mean, he was building an office building. It was like 13 stories. He was building
Wow.
that when I was a kid. He would put the blueprints on the dining room table and tell me and my siblings about what he's doing. Prior to that, he built movie theaters and he built apartments and everything like that. So he was doing a lot of stuff. And this was when I was really young. I mean, I'm telling you, I was like single digits. I was really
Wow. That is
single digit
awesome, man.
ages.
So did you
So
always did you always say, okay, when I grow up, that's what I'm going to get into, or did it just
I didn't
uh,
actually. I just kind of through osmosis. I had an interest in it. He never encouraged me to go into it, and I'm not doing development, but I'm in real estate. So
yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, who was it? James Baldwin says kids rarely do what you say, but they do what they see. What they see you do.
yeah,
So that's really
yeah,
interesting. Yeah.
yeah. I used to go to his construction sites and see him build the properties. It
Yeah.
was it was interesting.
Oh, cool. Now you mentioned you were talking about some of the challenges when people who are real estate investors or any type of investor, anyone who wants funding for asset or property, some of the challenges dealing with banks. Can you talk about some of the differences and
Yeah.
benefits
I
working
mean,
with the private investors?
yeah. So, I mean, personally, my personal challenge was dealing with banks trying to get financing. And I got so frustrated that I just decided I don't ever want to do any business with any banks. So, because, I've been a business person, an entrepreneur. So it's not like I got a regular job and my income is a steady paycheck. And that's what they're always looking for. And so it was always difficult to make a deal happen. And so, and I realized that there's a lot of other people who don't fit that category. In fact, the people who need the money the most and create the most value are the ones that are not doing a 9 to 5 job, getting that steady paycheck. In fact, everybody I know is out there hustling for the next deal, making something happen, and providing jobs to other people.
Right.
So I said, I want to get into the private money space. I want to see deals done, and I don't want to get bogged down in bureaucratic paperwork with a bank. I just
Mhm.
want to do deals.
I dig that.
So
Man, I'm so glad you said that, David, about some of the people who need the most are the folks creating so much value. When a real estate investor or whatever world, yeah, real estate investor, it's like so many hands that are either fed or feeding because of these real estate transactions. And
yeah,
I just find it so odd that banks would prefer somebody with a 60,000, 100,000, whatever W-2 to they would look at them as a stronger asset than someone who's clearing 300,000 or even way more or whatever the range. But because the income isn't traditional, there's more challenges. I don't understand why the banks are so far behind.
well,
Um,
I can tell you, it's a lot of it has to do with social engineering.
hmm.
They want to make a society of slaves. I mean, like, what
uh,
can I tell you? That doesn't fit the
hey.
conversation,
Oh no,
but
hey, you're about to go.
but
Yeah,
but it's all social engineering, and so they want to get people who are compliant. And traditionally, the entrepreneurs are not compliant; they're not independent, and so they're going to go out there and cut their own path and create their own deals and create their own future, and that's not fitting their box. So they cater to the people who will comply, follow the rules, and just put their heads down and work.
oh man, I was in the school system for 16 some odd years, man. I was like the rebel. I thought I was going to go in and plant seeds of just, disruptors and all. And, it's so I definitely understand what you're saying when it comes to having systems that don't necessarily encourage out of the box thinkers or folks who,
Yeah, yeah,
innovate. But at the same time, we're the ones, and I mean, God bless teachers and other, folks who are working nine to
yeah.
fives. But at the same time, innovation and is like the bloodline of really any
That's right.
growing and thriving nation, man. So I'm glad you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
can you tell me? So, well, there's two places I want to go here, but like, what does it look like? Let's say that before I jump into the other question about connecting with people. But what does it look like for someone who has a deal and wants to work with you, or wants to see if you guys can partner together?
I make it as simple and pain free as possible. So I literally say I got a few bullet. I send an email with few bullet points of questions like, what's the address? What kind of property is it? Are you buying it or refinancing it? What's the purchase price or what's the value of the property? If you're refinancing it, how much debt is on the property? Is there income on the property? If there is income, how much is the income? How many units are there? Uh, what are the taxes and insurance? What's your credit score? What's your exit strategy? If it's a flip, what's the after repair value? How much money do you need in rehab? So let's say it's 10, 12 questions. They should be able to answer that within 5 minutes off the top of their head.
Mhm.
And so I do that because I want to make it as pain free for them. Because the more questions I get into, the response rate goes down
Mhm.
a lot. And I don't do any applications or anything. So I take that information, I go price out a deal, or with several lenders, and I come back and I say, okay, this is the best deal I found.
Mhm.
Uh, what do you think? Do you like it? And I wait for the response. If they like it, they don't like it, what their what are the points that they don't like, and I try to satisfy their needs given the circumstances. Sometimes you're dealing with lack of experience, maybe a low credit score. Um, those are typical, the biggest objections. Um, Sometimes there's not enough money in the deal, and that kind of protects them if they're
Hmm.
doing a flip. So the lender is going to require more money, and that's when they realize maybe there's not enough juice in the deal for them to go ahead and do it.
Wow. So if you're watching this and you're thinking about, especially in the Triangle, North Carolina area, and you're thinking about funding for your deal, not only being able to send this to David gives you the opportunity to perhaps have the funding you need. It sounds like with your response, you may be able to tell them, hey, actually, this is not a deal. You're not protected enough. We're not protected enough. And it's not that you want to go around vetting or comping everyone's deal, but it's like almost, it definitely is a, almost a keep or a safe check or whatever the word is I'm looking
Yeah,
for.
yeah, it's a safety. So it's like
Yeah.
the lender's protecting themselves. So
Hmm.
consequently, there's protecting the borrower.
Right.
If they know there's not enough profit or cushion in the deal, they're not going to do it, or they're going to reduce the loan amount.
Yeah.
So that kind of tells the borrower, either you want to put more money if you really want to do the deal, or maybe look for a different deal.
One thing I really admire about you is how like you, you seem very much like you just connect people and you want people to do well in this space and it just seems so genuine. In fact, I called you from a cold call and you turned it into you automatically said, "Hey, come out to this great networking event that I host called Deal Exchange. It's out in North Carolina." And so I ended up going and the room was packed. It was over in that other restaurant. I can't remember the name of the
Yeah,
restaurant.
yeah. Another
Oh,
broken egg cafe. Yeah.
yeah, it was packed, man. I mean, it was like almost standing room, only really standing room only for some folks after a while. And people, and every single person still was not only encouraged, but almost forced in a cool way to stand up and not only share what they're looking for, what they have, but you were like, hey, share everything. We've actually even got people selling and buying cars in here. Share whatever, you don't never know what it is in here. So
Yeah.
what is it for you, man? Like that makes you want to like just connect people in that way. What like yeah,
Well,
what is it?
I started off kind of selfishly. I really wanted to do deals.
Yeah, yeah.
And I went to a lot of these real estate events where you go up there and you hear a speaker, and then maybe you get some networking time and talk to people. And I said, this should be the opposite. I don't want to hear people speaking.
Yeah.
I want to network. I
Right.
don't want to listen to this guy, an hour of my time listening to this, which I would never want to spend that way. So I just said, I'm just going to create my own event. So I just started collecting business cards and inviting people. I just started out by going to a coffee shop and inviting the people I knew. I said, hey, let's go connect at a coffee shop and talk deals. And it started with about a dozen people, and it kind of just grew.
Oh man, every time I go in there, it's like I'm still like from last week. Still, I'm still following up with folks. I had a great conversation with Kristen.
Yeah.
I'm just meeting so many different people. I've already interviewed several folks. Adam Schneider from Home Investors, and
Oh, that's
other
right.
folks will be coming on. Leather Banks. So it's awesome. Can you tell people about what it is, where it is, so that if they're
Oh,
interested?
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we do it every 2 weeks at the New World Cafe in Raleigh. The next one is next week on Thursday from 8:30 to 11. There's no cost. Just buy a cup of coffee or something to eat from the cafe so we can support them, for hosting us at the venue. And you sit down and you get your turn to say your deal. And if you're not, and I try to encourage everybody to get everything out. Not everybody knows a lot of people don't think they have anything to say.
Yeah.
And once they start saying it, they realize they have something to say that other people are interested in. So that's it. I mean, including me, I'm guilty of that. Sometimes I say, "Well, they already heard it. It's so boring." And no, they haven't heard it, and maybe this is the time they want. It's going to be new to them.
Right. Yeah. So, one, I'll say being loud is so important. Like that's McDonald's still advertises, Coca-Cola still advertises. So that repetition, and if you're in this space, you get bombarded with letters and messages and all. So to be first of mind is or top of mind is so important because sometimes you do have a deal, you have stuff, but if people don't know about it, what's it worth?
Yeah,
Folks, if you're watching, I would love to encourage you to check out the YouTube channel if you're listening. But if you want more information about Deal Exchange, check out the contact information at the bottom of the ticker. David dot oh, now I'm getting complex. Mashian
Mashian.
Mashian at moneymacmortgage.com. David David dot Mashian at money macmortgage.com. So you can get more information or reach out to me, and I'll definitely put you on a mailing list. And I would love to see you out there and network as well. So, what are some of the like rewarding things that in this like I don't want to say new, but this private investing brokerage and networking event that's been very like rewarding for you that maybe
Well,
surprising, rewarding.
for me, it's like you got to be in the mix of what you want in your life, right? You
Mm-hmm.
have to be in the mix. The energy is going to propel you to get what you want. Like right now, I want to start owning real estate. I want to do fix and flips. I'm doing lending, but so I start talking to people and I see people I can work with, whether it's they're joint venturing and then with money or with labor or with, I've met so many good people that I invite to share them at the event, whether they're contractors or brokers or lenders or whoever. And I said, I just want to make my sphere of influence these people because that's where I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to go to other events like, let's say, a medical association or something else. This is where I'm at. I do loans and investment real estate. That's where I want to be socially, and I want to start owning real estate. So it's actually helping me push me out because when I see other people's success or challenges, it educates me, but also motivates me to do it.
Yeah, the environment is so important. You know the famous saying, you hang around five millionaires, you're going to end up, they're going to be a six. Or what does the gentleman say in the green meeting last time? If you stick around a barbershop long enough, you're going to end up getting a haircut. And
That's
I know
right. That's right.
that's
We
what it
both got we
apply
go to
for
the
us,
same
man.
barber.
Yeah, exactly. We go to the same barber. Exactly. Yeah. Hey, so do you have anything that you want to put out there? You don't have to put the address. They can definitely contact you if they need to get address. But do you have any deals or anything out there? I'm gonna put you on the spot like you put us on the spot at the
Sure, sure. You know
event
what? I
today.
do have a lot of deals that I think that are good lending deals that a lot of people don't know about.
Mm,
I'd say one of the loans I do that I've been doing a lot of is kind of people doing a flip, and they either bought the property with all their cash and now they don't have any rehab money,
Oh, I was in that business.
or they bought the money with a fix and flip loan, but they ended up spending more money, or they ran out of time with that lender, and the loan is due, and so now they need to kind of get out of that loan or get more money. So what I've done is I've refinanced the house. So let's say they bought it all cash or
Hmm.
with the lender. I refinance it, either give the lender back their loan amount or give the borrower back, let's say 75% of their cash investment, right? So now they got some cash in their pocket, but I also give them 100% of the rehab money.
Oh wow.
So let's say they got in deep. This rehab took cost more than they thought and took longer than they thought, which happens.
Yeah, it
So I
definitely.
give them that money on the purchase back to them so they can reinvest it, and also rehab money so they can complete the project. And I'm running into that a lot. A lot of people are kind of like they don't have any options. The original lender does not want to extend this thing anymore. They're kind of done with it, and now their back is to the wall. They don't really have any avenue. So I have lending resources that can do that. I also have creative financing lenders who will let the seller carry back a second for, let's say, a small 10% or 15% second, and the lender will finance the first, and that way it reduces the down payment for the borrower. So instead of, let's say, them putting 20-25% down, they only need to put 10 or 15% down if the
Ah,
seller carries the other portion of the down payment.
oh my goodness. I'm gonna have to talk to you about that. Yeah, I'm gonna talk to you about that about a property in Durham that we're looking at seller financing where we'd be in second position and carry the note. Yeah, we'll talk
Yeah,
about that.
yeah.
Yeah,
So if they do that, so that lowers your cash exposure. You don't need to tie up so much money in a deal that way. So if the seller helps you by floating your cash requirements, that's a great way of doing a deal.
yes.
I have another lender who will fund deals in 48 hours. I can fund it in 48 hours. So that means you literally can make an offer so long as the title insurance company or usually the slow move, there's no appraisal. Okay, so you don't have an appraisal inspection. It's a desktop appraisal by the lender.
Wow.
So this is a powerful lending tool. Can you imagine walking to somebody saying, I want your buyer property, here's a price, and it's an aggressive price for you. You're getting a better deal, but I'm going to close in a
Within
week,
48 yeah,
48
that
hours,
this is
whatever,
so powerful
in a
because
few
even
days.
even as a wholesaler, sometimes the wholesaler, the hotel where you might they have the power to say, I can literally buy this property, and then uh, you have the power to have that reflected in the price that you're getting because of
That's
the
right.
convenience you provided, and then to be able to resell that for a profit and still be profitable for the eventual end buyer. Those are powerful vehicles to have, and folks wouldn't know this unless they are out there in the mix, just like
Yeah.
you're doing. Is there anything you would encourage somebody who perhaps wants to, start being a private lending broker, or sort of like you? What are some of the key tools that they would or characteristics they need to have to be able to?
Well, I mean, it just takes experience. You got to
Yeah.
keep doing it, and then you learn about. I mean, I'm always learning about different products
Mhm.
that I can bring to my borrowers. So, and the market's always shifting. I mean, a couple of years ago, it was mostly that DSCR loans because interest rates were low and people were trying to get into permanent financing.
Mhm.
So, fix and flip was not a big priority. Nowadays, there's more fix and flip loans and some DSCR loans, but so you go with the flow of the market, and so I always keep abreast of what's happening in the market and try to provide products that people can do deals with.
Yeah. So getting out and networking, connecting with folks, and just
Yeah.
sometimes it's hard to replace good old experience, and sticking with it is so important. Well, David, I know I said I was going to be just short today because I definitely
No,
value
we
your
can talk.
time.
I mean, we're
Uh,
doing it. I can tell you about all the deals you want because I think there's other deals like foreign nationals. I can fund them. They don't have to have green card or
oh wow.
passport or nothing. I can literally do it with just they're from whatever country. They got a passport. They want to buy a property, or they got an ITIN. I can do that.
Oh
I can
wow,
do.
that is powerful. I've never even come across that. And there's a lot of people out here who can invest in these communities, but maybe
Yeah,
have
a
that
lot of
obstacle.
yeah,
Yeah.
like a lot of whatever foreign nationals, whether they live here legally or not, or whatever. We can get those deals funded, or maybe they just flew in. They want to buy this and fly right out. Who knows?
Yeah.
So we can get that funded. I can do interest only loans. So if you want to lower your monthly payment, I can do it interest only. That's on a permanent loan. So a 30-year loan, interest only loan, we can do that. It won't be the whole 30 years as interest
Right.
only. It'll be 5, 7, or 10, depending on the program. But
So that can
um,
increase someone's cash flow while they're
that's right.
right.
That's
Wow.
huge. That'll increase their cash flow, and that may make all the difference in terms of what their, you know,
Bringing home.
cash reserves for the
Yeah.
project. Maybe they need to put that what they would have paid in principal aside for kind of remodeling or paying out to investors. Of course, I do multifamily and commercial apartments and office, industrial, retail, multifamily, mobile home parks, bars, restaurants, um, daycare centers, you name it. I can do those, and I can do those no doc.
Mm.
That means no tax returns, no bank statements. I can do those. So I could do those based on the cash flow of the property. Let's say, but the only time I would ever ask for a tax return is, let's say, if a business wanted to buy the property that they're occupying. So let's say an accountant wanted to buy the office building they occupy.
Right.
Then I would ask for the tax returns to show the income as a way of proving that there's income to support the mortgage payments.
Okay.
That's the only time we would do it because there's no tenant, it's them. So I need to see the income.
Well, for some of these products, especially when there's the income verification, is there a seasoning period, or are there some that would just say, hey, we'll do it on the projected income, or do it on the, you have a month in of rental coming in from this residential assisted
No,
living?
no. I mean, the only time I would say income would be tax returns for 2 years on a owner occupied business purpose. Other than that, if let's say they're buying an apartment building,
Hmm.
we would just get the rent roll and the leases, and that's basically it.
Okay. Well,
If
what
it's
I'm
a
saying,
Go
well,
ahead.
so for instance, just personally, I'm looking at a 5 bedroom, 4 bath, and looking at converting it into like a residential assisted living. If I don't have occupants yet, would you need leases prior, or what would you need to show that, hey, there's income that's going to be coming in, or I need income for the next 6 months before we can, have a conversation?
So assisted living is something I don't fund. That's the one I
Mhm.
get requests for all the time, and that is
Ah,
such a. I said daycare, not assisted.
yeah, well, there's some who sort of like daycares. But I hear you, I hear you.
So that's a different animal, and that is. I just don't do that. I don't have a resource for it. I think I got enough products as it is. I just don't have that product. That one I don't know.
Yeah, daycare.
Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, when I was in Baltimore, I ran across a lot of people who were, setting up the daycare space. Is that? I've never had a conversation with folks. I mean, people are always having children and needing space. I know that daycares
Yeah,
are cost a great amount.
they're
What
all
does
over.
that?
There's a whole bunch in Durham. All
Yeah,
these
yeah,
houses that have been converted to daycare.
yeah. Are they on triple net leases where they're like responsible for the
I
taxes
mean, it could be
and
a triple net lease. That's fine.
uh, oh, my goodness,
You
man.
do
So you have a lot.
self storage too. Go ahead.
Oh, I love the self storage. That's what I'd
Yeah,
love to get into. Those tenants are pretty awesome. They
yeah,
don't really
yeah,
argue or fuss or fight. Yeah.
yeah. There's no yeah, and then automotive and retail and mobile home parks and restaurants and bars. So I can do all those. So or shopping centers or office buildings. All at no dock. No dock. You got to remember, this is no dock. It's going to be. It's like a game changer. Let's say you're a business owner and you're doing everything you can, to preserve your wealth. These tax returns are not going to look too amazing for a traditional bank.
Yeah.
So that's why we do no doc.
That's
Okay.
so important.
And right now the banks aren't really even lending.
Right.
They don't have right now they call it they don't have liquidity. It's a fancy word for saying they don't have money.
Mm. Uh,
So they don't have liquidity. They were heavily invested in the US Treasury bills, which when the interest rates went up, the values of their holdings in US Treasuries went down because they were getting 2% yields or less. And now when the US T bills are paying 5% or so, they're going to have to sell those holdings at a loss if they ever decide to realize a sale. And they're negative. They're dead men walking, basically, those banks.
wow. That's, that's what I think so powerful for, investors are pretty savvy and quite often, are taking those losses from the rental property. So it's hard for some investors to show that they have income, as you're saying. So to be able to go and have products that don't require documents or those type
Yeah,
of tax verification is so huge, man.
yeah,
Man, so you definitely need it. Yeah, I really appreciate you actually being out there. I hope to be able to use some of the products that you
yeah,
have, and because I need to, instead of, I mean, wholesaling is an awesome way to bring in income, and I've owned property many times, but I've had to sell those off when I moved and transitioned from Baltimore to North Carolina, and so I really need to start holding on to property. That's
yeah.
really
Hold on
good.
to it, and you
Yeah.
got to realize, it's like the real estate is actually incidental. It's a money game.
Hmm.
Real estate is a money game.
Hmm.
The real estate asset, is actually just a security
Right. I
against
get it.
the money. And if you understand the money, that's why I got into the private money, because I realized after being a broker for like 17 years, I said it's everything is determined by the money. What are the interest rates? What are the lenders? What is their appetite? Everything is dictated by that. That's why I got into the money. And if you like just look at what I just talked about today on our call. That 48-hour approval funding on a deal, that could change your life. Just that one product. You do a few deals like that, that's a game changer.
Well, you definitely have my ears perked because yeah, that's one
Isn't
of
it?
my end goals to be a lender because you're also providing so much for people in their lives. You're talking about game changer to be able to be in a position to say, hey, I got this product for you, and you know that it made an impact on the people is just
Yeah.
so amazing. And the money, of course, is awesome as well. That's a beautiful thing as well.
You can
Man,
go make as many offers as you want, and you know that
yeah.
lender's there, and you can close. You can close it, and you can get deals that other people can't because you have that in your back pocket. Other
Man.
people don't have that; they don't know about it.
Well, we need to chat more. You need to talk. We need to talk more, David. If you need the groups, heck yeah. Well, so I'm gonna let you get up to so you can check out those cherry blossoms. But folks,
All right.
check out David. You see his information there, and check out Deal Exchange, and just keep picking. Come out here and pick his brain. I look forward to the next one. Next one's coming up April 4th
Yeah.
on Thursday. That's at the Another Broken Cafe.
No, no.
No, 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 no. Oh
New
yeah, New
Worlds
World
Cafe
Cafe.
in Raleigh, and it's Facebook as Real Estate Deal Exchange. If you want to look on the Facebook page,
Real Estate Deal Exchange. And
or if
it's
you
a
want to be on the email list, shoot me an email. I'll put you on the email list, and you're welcome to attend.
Yeah, I really appreciate it, man. And I think it's the Raleigh, the one on Durley Road, I believe. But you can get all the
That's right.
information.
They're really
Yeah,
low. That's right. That's
yeah,
the one in
awesome,
Raleigh.
David, man. Thank you so much,
You're
brother.
welcome.
Hope you have safe travels, and I will
Thanks, man.
definitely see you at least by next Thursday, man.
Yeah, look forward to seeing you there. Yeah, bring your
All right,
deals.
all right. This is
Let's
Courtney
make
Rollins.
you got a Durham land deal. I was interested in hearing more about. Yeah.
Yeah, let's get on it, man. I'll definitely share that with you, man. Yeah, yeah. Hopefully, I have a couple few more. I have some in the pipeline. I should be getting contracts back this week. Some Person County deals and some other land. So land keeps falling in my lap. So yeah, I'll share it with you next week.
That's it.
But everyone, this is Life in
All right.
Transitions Experts, LITE. Let your light shine. Cheers.